All right. Well, today we have Damon Bell from Pixnub. You all know sports photo automator, easy green screen, team builder. But one of his newer pieces of plugin is an AI watermark, an AI proof watermark tool that works inside Photoshop. And so we're going to be going through quite a few things with Damon to kind of help you watermark proof or AI proof your watermarks. And so we're going to kind of just jump in a little bit here. I think we have Alyssa Bell in the chat as well as some photo day peeps. So if you have questions, please hit us up in there. Use the Q&A button if you can. That will help us guide those questions and get them answered when you have them. So please use that when you can. And I think we'll just get started. All right, so there's a new threat to your digital work. AI watermark removal tools are prevalent anymore, and they are, very good, and they are getting better. We've got some examples here of, just a text watermark, being just easily just removed, and even our own Photoshop or our own photo day watermark that has been resistant to this in the past is now just as easily removed as anything else. So a lot of it, like Damon said earlier to us while we were talking, this is all a lot of generative AI doing this stuff, right, Damon?
Yeah, it's pretty much redrawing parts of your image. It knows how to draw an ear, hair, eyes. So even if you completely cover some areas, the AI will redraw it just like an AI image generating tool. So I can cover more of that when I get into my part of the discussion. But yeah.
So what kind of things did that pose for you in terms of trying to come up with a way to defeat these things? If they can just redraw the image, what keeps that from happening here?
Well, I think what you have to do is you have to rethink how you're protecting your image and how AI is working. So AI is looking for text, number one, and logos primarily. So if you're trying to protect your images with logos or text, that's like a magnet or a target for AI. It says, okay, this is what I need to work on. So what I did in my testing is I tried to figure out ways for AI to not realize that the watermark is a watermark. So I've come up with some solutions that you can still put text or your logo on the image, but that's not what's protecting it. What I found is if you use, it's more or less colored shapes, a color wheel works the best with no sharp edges, not too strong of opacity to where you're altering the color of the image enough with shapes, and it thinks it's part of the design, more or less. And I've done a lot of testing on this, and I can say that what the plugin comes up with is pretty AI proof, and I expect it should remain that way for a good amount of time. But when I get into the examples, I can talk about it a little bit more.
Cool. So why are we doing this? Why do we have to fight this? Because, well, our work is valuable. We rely on the honesty of people to continue to purchase from us. And we've spent loads of money. I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars on software and, equipment and trailers and you name it. And we got to continue to be profitable. And if people are just going to screenshot, remove it, and upsize it with AI and all of these things, then there's really not a lot to keep honest people honest. Let's just face it, locks keep the honest people out. There is always going to be a way, but we can always make it harder for them, which is what Damon's working on here. It's not really a vanity thing. I mean, your watermark isn't about vanity. So you got to stop looking at it as something that is, I want this on here as my branding. It's protection. It's a digital lock. So really, that's how I've looked at it. You have a right to protect your work. So parents can complain, and they will. Honestly, they will. But that's really just reminding them that they need to, be honest and buy the images. So, there's a lot of tools out there for that. Anyone can steal your work right off their phone, screenshot, take it over to an app. There are services out there that are just easily taking this stuff off of here. And so we really don't want to allow them to do it. So, this kind of loses trust. It's also a loss of control. I mean, we all want to control our image. We all want to control what's being done with our images. I hate it when people take a great image and throw some kind of filter on it. It drives me insane. But we have to try to protect that. So, there are Facebook groups out there that are actively promoting and offering services to do this very quickly and easily. In some cases, you have to pay for the watermark removal, which also is just blows your mind that they will actually pay for someone to remove your watermark, but they won't pay you to buy the image. So, those groups exist out there. I think a lot of us that are in this industry are in those groups, just trying to monitor to see if any of our images come through there. And we've seen the posts in our volume groups. Hey, is this anybody's image? They're trying to take your watermark. But what are you supposed to do about that? How are you supposed to address that? Those are things that you need to start considering in your business model, I think. It needs to be something where you can address it within a reasonable time frame, as well as not confrontational. Some people don't even know they're doing it illegally. Honestly, there are people out there that just don't know they're doing it illegally. Other people, yeah, you can't say you're not. If you're paying somebody to take off a watermark, you're doing something wrong. And honestly, reporting in these groups is really slow and really ineffective. And a lot of these groups are not even based here. So, and a lot of the services that are being offered aren't based in the US. So there's really not a lot of legal ramification to go sue people for the stuff. So let's go on to this one. It's not really it's not a random thing. It is an organized process, but we're not alone. But we're all paying the price. And so, I don't know about you guys, but are you charging more? Let's ask out here in the group. Are you starting to charge more to offset theft? I mean, we've all had, you know what it is in retail. The price of products go up as theft rises. So that's why they have a lot of in-store, sales retention processes and all of that. So is anyone out there increasing their price to cover the cost of theft? Just a quick question for you. I'm not getting anybody responding. And of course, there's a 10 to 15 second delay between us talking here, but a lot of people, I don't know about you, were requiring advance pay or some kind of prepay process. So that's what advance pay is for. It really does get money in the system, and once they're in, they're a qualified customer. There's somebody who's going to buy. And I don't remember any of my Florida Day peeps out there. What's the percentage of those that are purchasing advance pay credits? How much more do they buy? Last I looked or heard, it was between 10 and 15% more if they did an advance pay credit than if they didn't do an advance pay credit. I don't have actual numbers on that. Maybe somebody can help me chime in here. I look at advance pay as not only securing a prepayment, but also a potential increase in my sales because they will spend more. Money spent is money forgotten, and advance pay helps kind of secure that. So now you're not making people into thieves. They're going to get something. I have always had the mindset of putting digital files in a package so that they get something. A lot of times they just want to share something immediately. I'm not a huge give it away free kind of guy, but for a limited time, we can do those kind of things in packages, swap out price sheets. But that is only a very small part of trying to combat this stuff. But we've got copyright tools out there. I don't know if anybody's ever copyrighted their images at the copyright office. If they've done a bulk, I believe there's some information out there on just copyrighting your images. Now, that's a lot of work. You can do it in bulk. There is a process for that. And then the other end of that is, are you going to prosecute? How are you going to handle that on the other end? So if we can prevent them at all from doing this and getting into this kind of negative cycle, we want them to buy. We want them to be customers. So we try to make it as obvious or as easy as possible to purchase. So, yeah, we're fighting back. So, so Damon is going to go ahead and give us a beta, a test of his, or a view of his demo of the watermark tool that he created. I'm going to let him take it away and go ahead and share your screen, and we'll pull this off here.
All righty. Got the window in the window here.
There we are.
All right, so let's start. Okay, let's just start with a basic headshot. Can you still hear me okay?
Yep, you're just fine.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a basic headshot just so I can do a quick demo of the software. And there's 3 sections to the software. And if you remember earlier, I talked about logo versus text versus just something to protect the image. So I broke this out into 3 sections. And this first section, which is on by default, is your AI Proof overlay. And I'll just run this with, let me reset the settings so we know we're on default. And this is your basic standard settings, which doesn't look very pretty, but I'll show you in a minute here how we can change this up. But what I've found is that AI really struggles with these colors, especially if the colors fade on the edges so they're not distinct borders. And if the colors change throughout the image, and you can see the shapes of these are changing, I found this to be pretty robust as far as AI not being able to remove these. But with that said, of course, this doesn't look very pleasing. So I've developed a few different ways we can change the look and appearance of that. So first thing is, I'm not going to do a whole tutorial, but I'll just go basically through the settings. There's some different types of shapes you can choose from. Yeah, so you can change the colors to different colors. I found that this color wheel does work the best because it's more difficult for AI when it's got a gradient of colors. You can change some basic things like the opacity of this. The standard usually works pretty well. You can also change the size of it if you want. And then also what we've got is a mask. So this is not very pleasing to give your customers something like this, but if you just want to say, for example, watermark just the face, you'll allow the customer to see the image as a whole, and they can see the face through the watermark so they can get an idea of what the expression looks like. And overall, it doesn't look too bad for them just to look at it. Oh, also, since we were talking earlier, Brian, about exporting a watermark, as like a PNG. So if you're not running batch mode and you're just running them one at a time, you get 2 layers. You could just delete the layer below and save this off as a PNG. So if you're doing like school portraits and you know the face is always in the same position, you could actually save a watermark that's just over that face area. Now, of course, if the face location changes, you're not going to be able to do that with like sports posters
Right, or team photos, but
yeah, but for like a portrait, you can do this. If you wanted to do a face only watermark with like sports posters that where it's changing, you could run a batch and you'd have individual watermarks for each image. So
just as a caveat here for Photo Day users, if you're going to use this in your watermark on Photo Day, the watermark on Photo Day is a global watermark. It's for every single gallery. So if you want to go and do something specific for like this, be aware that it'll be for every single gallery that you put out there. So keep in mind that the watermark here at Photo Day is global. It is for all galleries in your account. So.
Okay, so moving on, I know we were talking about text and branding and logos. when I initially started to make this plugin, I tried to put some colored watermark, and then I would put like a copyright text in the color. And what I found was when you did that, that attracted AI to that area. So it would remove that and it would try to fix the color. And in some cases did a pretty good job. So, and I've done a lot of testing on this, and I have found that protecting your image without the text and watermarks is far, far better. AI so far doesn't touch it like this. However, I know that people want to maintain branding, which is important as well. So I've got 2 more sections in here where you can add your logo and you can add some text. So a logo would be your brand, and text would be more communications, I would say. So you could say,
purchase this watermark.
Purchase
to remove.
Yeah, and some people say, well, maybe that people don't understand why there's colors over there. So you could even tell them, purchase to remove colored watermark. If some people are dumb enough to not understand this is protection, you can tell them right here. You can give it a location, vertical location. It's just a percentage. 0's top, 100's bottom. So we'll put this at like 60. That'll put it like 60% of the way down. So somewhere right in here. And then for logo, you just grab whatever your logo is, and you can have locations of your logo as well as the size of your logo. I'll just put
assuming your logo should be a PNG file at least.
It can be any format that accepts transparency. So a PNG, a TIFF, a WEPI, or a PSD, any of those. I'll just use it top left. So you can still maintain your branding, and you can give them something there. You can put this, like, say, let's change a couple of things out just so you can see that we can actually change some things. So I've told it to make a bigger watermark and move the location. So you can kind of customize where those go. And in some of my testing, I found that when you did this, it actually helped because AI sees your logo, it sees the text, and it becomes like a target. So AI will remove the text, it might remove your logo, and it thinks it did its job, and it's going to ignore all these colors because it just thinks that's part of the image. So it's busy doing something thinking, yay, I fixed your image, or I removed the watermark. So it's good just to throw in some text if for no other reason than just for that, give AI something to chew on.
So the AI is looking for something to remove, and if you give it something, it'll just ignore some other things. So
yeah, exactly.
Like giving the dog a bone.
Exactly. But even with these colored ones, I've seen these as pretty robust anyway. But I have seen before when I tried to do like a solid red color, for instance. And I don't think I've seen it with the circles. I think it was the squares where I saw it, where I gave it some red squares, and it kind of thought, oh, those are supposed to be removed. But when I gave it some text, then it ignored those.
Interesting.
There's different AI models out there, but like I say, the circles with the color wheel is your best option. All right, let's move on to a different image. Oh, by the way, this is a new design that Alyssa, our artist over here, just created. So if you're interested in this is available on our website right now, half price. Sorry to interject that here, Brian, but
Shameless plug, Damon.
Had to get that plug in there. But in any case, so if you have an image like something you're trying to sell to a parent, and the main thing is that you're trying to sell is really trying to sell the design. Let's go back to the default settings here. Let's put this up at like 50%. If you make it so it's hard to see the artwork or hard to see the face, I think it a lot of times can make it harder to sell. So there's a few other options that you can do with your masking. For example, you can have it cover the subject only. So you're protecting your image still. but at the same time, they can see what they're getting. They can really see the graphics and the cute soccer ball smiling and the type of stuff that would sell it to a parent. There's also one, which probably this isn't a good example where you'd want to use it, but don't cover face. If you want the parents to be able to see the face and cover the rest of the graphics, knowing that they're not going to buy it just for if they wanted an image of just their kid's face, they would get their cell phone out. But if they want everything else that goes in it, you could protect everything else. But the one that I really like for this kind of image is this edges only, because I think this does a very good job of protecting the image and allowing the parents to see the image too. And for this, I like the random triangles with, I don't know, small. This takes a little bit longer on this one because it's got to draw a little bit more, but this is drawing an outline, and you can do this one at a higher opacity because it's only covering the edges. But AI won't touch this, but it's pretty much useless to a parent to purchase at this point if they got the edges all covered with some colors. And then this is where people have said, oh, they're going to think that's part of the design, where you could say purchase to remove and type that all in here and put the text in there. So is a way of communicating that.
I've got Chris Garner saying, but then you would need to upload replacement images. So Damon's plugin is multi-purpose. So there are other gallery platforms out there that you do end up. You're the one, that's more for self-fulfilled studio type work. So
yeah, I know Zenfolio is one where they told me that you can upload individual watermarks per image. I talked to Smug Mug and they said they couldn't, but they would look into it. So there's other use cases
right.
for this.
That's what I'm trying to point out is that.
But this is not a volume, create one. You're not going to upload this watermark as your gallery watermark. This is more of a customized thing because this plugin is more than just for school and sports.
Right.
I developed this for an entire industry. And speaking of which, this plugin is not even a Pixnub plugin. Just FYI, I'm allowing Pixnub Platinum users to use this plugin with their license key, so this will work. But this is actually the reason why it's still in beta is because my website here, damonbell.com, is not finished yet. I have a whole other set of tools I'm working on for other industries outside of school and sports. And so I felt this one really spanned every artist. So whether you're doing art, wedding photography, landscape photography, wildlife, for example, if you're shooting pictures of monkeys in Central Florida, by the way, this is a wild monkey from Central Florida. We have them here. You could use this same thing for to protect. Let's just reset here. See if it works on the monkey. I haven't tried this one. I just opened it up just on a whim. So you could use this to protect your National Geographic images you're sending to them to look at, to post in their magazine. So, I mean, whatever you want to use this for. So it's going to work for that.
So Jennifer Winkle's asking, you told us in the Pixnub group where we can find it, but she's trying to find the plugin. So
there's a link on the Pixnub website under the download section. If you just click the downloads, and then it'll be in there. You got to scroll down. It's going to be, I think, under the Damon Bell plugins section. There's a whole bunch of plugins that all the ones that I'm not selling right now on there, the little ratio guides and those sort of things. I'm moving those over to the Damon Bell site. Anything that's the school and sports, the current ones that are paid plugins are staying with Pixnub. All the little freebie things that I made that weren't really school and sports are going over to my other site. And this is one that's going to be for my new site, which is not launched yet. Should be in the next few weeks. And then this is not going to be in beta. So for anybody who wants a license, the Pixnub licenses will work with this, or you can wait until I launch my website and I'll have individual licenses for this as well.
So you don't have to be a Platinum plugin group member to purchase the one-off plugin for this.
You won't as soon as I have it available, which it's not yet. It's just, I just had this in beta for the Platinum users to test before launching. But I'm thinking that's pretty much ready to go off beta because I haven't heard of any problems. And everybody who's gave me feedback has said that the watermarks have worked very well and nobody's been able to see where AI's removed any yet. So
good deal.
Any other questions? And you can't run batch, of course. If you go to the batch mode, you just give it a source folder, save folder, a format. You could even save off as PNG. Oh, you know what? I think I don't have the option in yet for save logo only without the image. That's going to be in the official release 1.0. There'll be a ping option for logo only.
So Damon, we got a couple people asking in the group, how would you use that here at Photo Day? So we would need a transparent PNG version of whatever it is. So can you go back over that really quick to, I'm not sure if people just didn't chime in there or just show us how to do that as a generic watermark without an image attached to it. So just a plain file.
Yeah. So, I mean, just with the default settings here, if you just hit add watermark to image, you could now save it off as, file, save as copy. My favorite WEPI, but nobody supports that yet. But save it off.
Unfortunately, no, we just take PNGs here.
Nobody in the industry does, although WEPI is a better format than TIFF or PNG. But anyway, that's another soapbox for me to go on later at some time.
So basically shut off the background layer and just save it out of the PNG file.
Yeah, and then if you're doing school portraits where you're always, like if you're using face crop and cropping so their face is always in the same location and you wanted just to cover the face, then you could mask, cover face only, and get your watermark settings like you want. Maybe you wanted higher opacity. I don't know. And also, if you don't like the shape of the way it makes these, you could rerun it again because this random shape sizing, let me turn this off here. Without that off, it's going to give, it's going to give more uniform circles throughout, but with the random shape sizing.
I'll tell people here that I've used this and I have it on one of my current galleries and I had the opacity turned up a little too high. And the first 6 times I had people, within 5 minutes of me posting the gallery, I had 6 emails saying, hey, we can't see the people's face. We can't see your kid's face. And I thought, yeah, whatever. Well, I went to it and yes, it was too opaque. So good opacity setting, what would that be? 30, 40%?
I think the default, I believe, is 30. Yeah,
okay.
So
we have the ability to change the opacity globally in the
if that's the case,
here,
then you could make yours 100 and then set yours to 20%, and it would do the same thing. So if you wanted to render this off at 100%, if you guys have the ability to apply it at 20, then yeah, that works just fine as well. But with the shape, if you want like the shapes, like I say, you can apply at different times, and these shapes change each time if you have this random. And I did this that way AI couldn't learn that it always sees the same shape and the same rotations, because you can see where like the magenta is in a different rotation each time. It randomizes both of those, so AI can't learn a very specific shape. But if the parents, and I do like this idea too about showing the face. I know a lot of people are so worried about having to have the face covered. But if the main selling part is your image as a whole, and you're only showing the face and nothing else, or covering everything else, AI is still not going to be able to remove that watermark. You're letting the parent see the face, and the rest of the image is protected. I mean, I guess my thought is if they wanted just a mugshot of their kid, maybe they'll just take a picture with their cell phone. But if it's sports and you've got, like, for example, all the other stuff in the background, then maybe you let the parent see the face and cover the rest because it's not a big deal. I mean, I guess that's up to you what you want to do with that, but there are options.
But there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of choice in it. I think people just need to kind of get in, dig around, and play with it, and come up with what works for them. I found that I needed to put mine at about 40% opacity due to how dark the background was on my natural images. So I had baseball shot in a really dark location, and it seemed like the colors were really vibrant, even at like 30 or 40%. So I was able to do 30% in Pixnub in the AI watermark builder, and then in Photo Day I had to still drop the opacity to about half. Just to get it to where people could see it. So it was a little bit of a test trial for us.
Yeah, like with this,
I think it worked out pretty good.
Like with this cartoonish background here where it's like vibrant colors anyway, like exactly what you're saying. Same thing. You can't see it very well until you turn it up.
Yeah. So.
And then again here, this don't cover face. Like I say, I really like that for this kind of option because the parents can see the face, but if they want this image as a whole, there's nothing they can do in AI to fix the rest of this image. So this is a good use case example, I think, for showing the face.
Absolutely. So for those just joining or just picking up on this, this can be found on pixnub.com in the download section. You may have to scroll down a little further to find the AI watermark tool. But your platinum subscription, if you have one, will allow you to use this right off the bat. Damon's building his website out, and we'll have this available for purchase when that happens. So right now, that's why it's in beta.
So under the downloads here, if you guys can still see the screen.
Yep.
These are the Pixnub plugins. These are the non-Pixnub plugins. These are all free except for the AI Waterproof, which anybody who's a Pixnub user will get. Their license key will work with all these plugins that are going to be on damonbell.com, which I've got some others coming out to be announced at a later time that are not school and sports specific, but useful in their own way. So,
and if you haven't downloaded the ratio guide, go do that. Invaluable especially for setting up stuff for download here or for purchase on different product sizes. It's really helpful to just overlay a set of grids that say, hey, this is a 5x7 crop. This is what it looks like. It's a 4x6 crop. So I think those are fantastic. That's a little freebie that I think is invaluable for us.
So here's your ratio guides here, 5x7. You can see it's going to crop. And so you can set up your text to not crop if the user buys a 5x7.
Chris Garner's got another question for you. It's does the image ratio matter at all if there is a watermark being made with the transparent background with the color wheels and some text? Honestly, I built mine out as a 2 to 3 ratio image, and it's going to fit vertically just fine. It will go right down the middle of a horizontal image. So if you're doing a team photo, it will cover the center section of the team photo, but it's not going to scale all the way out. So, but it's a watermark. It's not going to. It's still going to make it difficult for them to purchase a team photo that way. All right. Well, if we don't have any, let's see, not a member of Pixnub yet. All right. Yeah, go ahead and download it, Billy. Go get it and check it out. All right. I'm going to move back to. Let's go back to slides and finish this out because we got a couple little things I want to cover really fast.
You want me to stop sharing here?
I think if I hit the presentation, I think it shuts you off anyway. So,
okay.
Let's start. There we go. All right. So, resources to help. We actually have put together some resources here. We're going to be putting out some more information. But if you want to take a shot of this little QR code here, you can go ahead and get the info on how to kind of prevent these things. We're all about education here. So we're always helping photographers try to learn new stuff, and this is one of those big ones. So take some time and download this. They'll be putting out a blog post as well. So and the link should be in the chat here momentarily for all of this. If you don't want to take a shot of that QR code, but a lot of great info there that the team's put together. So I want to thank marketing team for doing that. You know what? Speak up, protect your work, educate your clients. It's really kind of the big thing is we have to educate. Some people you will never train them to, or not train them, but get them to quit doing things wrong. But in some cases, they really don't know any other way to get around what they want. They want a quick image. You're not overreacting. This is not an overreaction. This is an adjustment in how you run your business. And Damon's put together a great tool here to help us kind of protect our work. So just got to keep going with all the new stuff. So guess what? We're going to have an updated watermark for you. So if you want to just, our default watermark has been this: purchase this image to remove the watermark. Team has put together a fairly cool little resource here. And this will eventually be in the available to you in the watermark section of your studio settings. So it's not there yet, just it's coming soon. So to be updated at a later time. All right. And of course, got to talk about Photo Day. We are a partner here. So greatest thing about Photo Day is you only pay when you sell. There are no contracts here. There's no, no monthly or annual fees of any kind. All you do is have a 10% transaction fee on the subtotal of the order. That is the retail value of whatever's in your cart. Of course, credit card processing is always available through Stripe. They are our payment processing partner. 2.9%, 30 cents. No lab bills. I mean, everything's taken right out of the value of your order when it happens. So you don't have to hold back cash in reserve to pay your lab bill at the end of the month. And there's no minimum order, so we don't have any of that. So we've got a whole bunch of features here for basically included for free. Text, email marketing. We got facial rec. I mean, that is a fantastic one of our landmark features is the face find and the capture app for private galleries. So if you haven't checked those out and you don't know about that stuff, please hit us up in the bubble. Come to photoday.com if you haven't and you're just coming to us from another source. Check us out. We've got a lot of great features here that have made us an industry leader. So of course, I can't stress enough. We've got the Photo Day Academy. If you sign up for an account, right on I think it's the right-hand side of your studio account, there's a little tab, a little section called the Academy. It is a resource of hours and hours of webinars that we record here, just like this one, where you can revisit these things, learn something new. We bring in speakers all the time. We have platform-specific webinars as well as just business webinars on how to do things. Like I think we had Amy come in. Amy Juarez came in and did one on how to do preschools, and we had Rose Coleman do dance. We've had Jay several times, Jay Boatwright, come in and do stuff on his volume process. Karina about the sales process over at Smacks. Just all kinds of information. I can tell you right now, if I'd have had that amount of resource available to me when I first started out, it would have not taken me 3 years to be profitable. So just saying, it's not fluff. That education piece here at Photo Day is really important. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming. If you have any questions, please reach out to us in the bubble. You can reach out to Damon at damonbell.com or, well, it's not there yet, right? You guys have
just pixnub.com.
Pixnub.com then. Okay. Just reach out to pixnub.com. Get over there into the Facebook group. That's you've changed the name of the Facebook group a couple of times. I can't remember. Is it no Pixnub user group?
Yeah, just go. It's the one that just says Pixnub, not company tech support or something.
Right, something like that. I can't remember.
Because it's a user group and it was getting used as a tech support group, and the expectations of us always being in there. So it's
right. But Alyssa's in there. Occasionally, you'll chime in, and a lot of us that are heavy Pixnub users are always, helping out others too. Just like our own personal user group here with Photo Day. really great resource for everybody. So thanks for coming, everyone. And thanks, Damon, for your time. Appreciate it. And thanks, Alyssa. I can see you back there.
Yep. Thanks for hosting this.
All righty. Any questions for Damon left? If not, I'm going to just move this over and call it good. All right. Everyone have a great day.